Hey there guys, what's up? Ragtter here, welcoming you back to Ladder Anxiety. And today we're going to make you feel good by playing some random battles. Feel free to join in and play along. We're just going to relax and we're going to have a nice time tonight. And competitive games are very intimidating, or they can be, but they don't have to be. I think you can sit down and you can have a nice, pleasant time playing a competitive game of your choice. My game is Pokémon, and I love it. And I think you can love it too. It stresses a lot of people out because of all the numbers. But at the end of the day, mistakes will happen. People will lose, and that's just the way it goes. I think you can learn a lot by playing Pokemon. Now, this Chandelure has set up a Calm Mind, as a result of me missing my earlier sleep powder. But I think we can definitely turn this to our favor. So we've got Leech Seed, we've got Sleep Powder. And we've actually got a Flash Fire Typhlosion. I don't really have anything too strong to hit the Chandelure with, though. I think instead, let's go into Plusle and try and set up a nasty plot. I think that would be pretty funny. Let's set up a substitute first. Chandelure is going to wake up and go for the Fire Blast. Oh, and we actually just learned that this Chandelure has Infiltrator, so that's some pretty useful information right there. Alright. Now let's see if we can't scare it out with Typhlosion. Now we know that it's not a choiced variety, because it's used Calm Mind, and we now know that it has Infiltrator, so it's not immune to Fire-type moves. I'm going to go for the Extra Sensory. We have the Choice Scarf, so we're definitely going to go first. The Chandelure is a very serious problem, but we do have that Leech Seed. If I have to, I can bring Jumpluff back in and cause some shenanigans with that. So we are going to get the Flinch. Gotta dwindle it down just a little bit more with the Leech Seed. Let's see if we can't get another Flinch. We're not going to be able to, but we are going to be able to survive that hit. It's going to reduce its HP with a Life Orb, and then we'll take the rest of its HP with the Leech Seed. So that ended up working out in our favor. Now let's see how our opponent responds, and we are going to turn the timer on, just because we are running a show, we do have things to get done. But if someone turns the timer on, you never feel pressured by that. It's not a slight against you, it's just that they need to get playing. So Groudon going to take the Quick Attack very nicely as Swellow comes out, gets its Toxic boost. What I think I want to do, actually, is go for the Rock Polish. I'm going to take the Brave Bird, and it's gonna do a decent amount. But now, with our agility up, Swellow's defenses aren't the best. We are going to be able to knock out a very large chunk of its HP. Unfortunately, not going to be able to pick up the KO. So let's see. 249 speed at max. That's more than I've got, but we can go into old Typhlosion here. And we can go for a Fire Blast. The Quick Attack is in fact going to knock out Typhlosion, but Swellow goes down as well. And now, to gain some momentum my way, I'm going to go into Jumpluff. I'm expecting the Spore from this Smeargle, so let's go for our Sleep Powder. Get the jump on Smeargle. Now let's get Leech Seed going. Gonna switch out to Zapdos, who's gonna get seeded in turn. Now let's go for... Oh, no, wait, cancel. We're under Sleep Claws. So let's go for a substitute to see what Zapdos wants to do. Zapdos has a Hidden Power, more than likely Hidden Power Ice. Which is not the best for my remaining Pokemon, obviously. But I have Rest on the Shaman, so let's head out into Shaman. Shaman's going to take the Hidden Power excellently, actually, for what it is. We'll get some HP back. And I actually feel pretty confident in going for an Air Slash here. So Smeargle's going to come out. Smeargle's sound asleep. And we can actually go for the Leech Seed onto the Smeargle. We're going to miss that time, but that's okay. Smeargle going to wake up. Go for the Destiny Bond. I have no intention of taking down the Smeargle just yet. It's planning on spamming that Destiny Bond. I think I might just go into Vivian. So that's going to put Vivian to sleep. That was actually a very smart play by my opponent. Maybe anticipating that switch? I honestly could have just stayed in and caused them to waste a turn, but that's perfectly okay. So we're basically just trying to burn through turns of sleep here, while Smeargle gradually gets whittled down. And we're going to get our substitute off. Smeargle's going for the Destiny Bond. Going to get knocked out by the Leech Seed. But that's not how Destiny Bond works. I didn't actually fire off a move to KO the Smeargle. It just went down to residual damage, so Vivian gets to stick around. Now with no more sleep mons, we can go for a sleep powder, as Zapdos is going to go for the roost. Now Zapdos is going to take a little nap. And let's see how much our Bug Buzz will do. We are safe behind our substitute. Gonna do a small amount. But the Zapdos is currently showing that it doesn't have passive recovery. Vivian is going to take the Thunderbolt. Let's go for another Sleep Powder. Vivian not carrying the Focus Sash, gonna get knocked out in one go. And that's okay. Now let's see if we can't win with just Shaman and Jumpluff left. So let's go into Jumpluff. Jumpluff flying over the spikes. I'm honestly anticipating the switch, so I'm going to go for the substitute. Zapdos deciding it's going to stay in, going for the roost. Let's see if we can't hit a Sleep Powder. Nope, Jumpluff's going to miss with that. The hidden power is going to come out. Let's try one more time. Nope, the Sleep Powder is going to miss again, and that's okay. Jumpluff gonna go down. And that puts it on Shaman's shoulders, but that's okay. If Shaman loses, then that's perfectly fine. So we're gonna get our Leech Seed off. The hidden power is going to do a whole chunk of damage. But we've got Leftovers recovery, and we've got Leech Seed recovery now. So let's go for a Seed Flare to try and reduce Zapdos' special attack if we can. Or special defense, rather. We are going to get quite the dramatic drop. It's not going to be quite enough, though. And if we can survive and get this rest off, then we stand a chance. Zapdos actually going to throw away its HP and let me get off a rest. So now Weavile coming out. Weavile very likely going to be the game ender here, but hey, we did our best. We put up a good fight. And we'll say GG to our opponent. And we'll get going. Let's look for one more. Even if you lose, you can still have a good time. The game's not about winning, the game's about enjoying yourself and meeting awesome opponents. Now, I've actually never gotten to use a Floette Eternal. So not only am I getting to have a good time with my opponent, I'm getting to have an experience I've never had before. Excuse me, and in my book, that's pretty gosh darn awesome. Now, for fact and for true, this Abomasnow is going to Mega Evolve. And I don't really have the numbers in my head for how much damage it can possibly do. So I'm going to switch into Hypno. And my logic here is that I want to get a Thunder Wave off onto the Abomasnow. And then maybe Wish switch? I wasn't honestly anticipating getting to use Hypno. And I don't really know how to handle Mega Abomasnow. I don't really compete against it too often. Let's find out. Let's look at Mega Abomasnow's data. Mega Abomasnow. Quite defensive on both sides. Got a lot of HP. What it's really lacking is the speed, so let's see if we can't turn its attack stat against it. It's gonna do some damage. Not a whole lot, though. Maybe this Abomasnow is... No, it's only used 2 physical moves, so can't really say either way. Let's go for the Seismic Toss. That's gonna do a whole chunk of damage. And we'll lose Hypno in the process. That, in turn, should give me the room to bring out Archeops and go for a Rock Slide. Abomasnow is going to be paralyzed, and it is going to get knocked down by the rocks. And I just realized that I locked myself into Rock Slide because of my choice band, but that's okay. Pokemon is all about making decisions, taking action, and then being okay with it. Because if you dwell on your mistakes, then you're never going to make another move. We're going to be able to knock Glalie right out of the park with that hit. Very fortunate for us, that wasn't a Mega Glalie. And our opponent's going to forfeit at that. Now, we have reached the minimum for what I like to do for an episode, but I kind of want to do one more because that battle was pretty unsatisfying, you know. Our opponent left, and, you know, that's okay. If you're feeling stressed in a game, then feel free to leave right away. Now, in this case, we've got Yveltal versus a Simipour, but I'll bet my bottom dollar that little Simipour has an Ice Beam. So instead of taking that, let's see, who's got the special defense? I'm going to go into Stoutland. And we'll start our timer. Just because we are running a show, we don't have all night. Though, I would sit here and play Pokemon all night. Random battles are some of my favorite because, like I said, they get me to use Pokemon that I've never gotten to use before, or that I never would normally use, or even normally face. The problem with a lot of metas for me is they tend to run their course and get kind of stale. But random battles, it's different every time. The pot is always different, so you never know quite what you're gonna get. Now this is pretty unfortunate for me. Very bad setup, but I'm definitely faster. So let's see how much damage we can do with return. We are almost going to be able to pick up the KO. And actually, Stoutland is able to hang in there. Let's see if we can't break through the confusion and get off one last return. And if we can, then that's fantastic, and if not, that's okay. We'll just move on with the game and we'll find a new Pokemon to send out. Stoutland is going to hit itself in confusion, and Machamp's going to get its Ice Punch off. Now in return, I think we go into Archeops. Now this Choice Band Archeops is carrying Pluck. So let's go for that and pluck away. What does Pluck even do, actually? It steals berries. I see. Well, this Machamp is carrying leftovers and not berries, so we're not going to get an item from that, but we don't need to. We just needed to knock out the Machamp, and that puts us one step closer to victory. So we're both down a Pokemon now, although I've shown more of my team than my opponent. That's another thing that I quite like about random singles, is it reminds me of Diamond and Pearl and Platinum, where there was no team preview, where when you went into a battle, you basically had to rely on your own toolkit to get out of there. So you would go in with your team and you had your set strategy, and it had to be good enough to react to whatever your opponent had. Because if it wasn't, then it wasn't going to work. It was quite challenging and fun in a lot of ways. It's definitely a whole lot different than the meta that's come out recently, and whether that's a good or a bad thing, I'll leave that up to you to decide, but I definitely miss the days of DPP, as they say. So Simipour setting up with its nasty plot. Let's get an Earthquake going. That actually does a whole chunk of damage. If we can survive the next hit, we will definitely be able to KO the Simipour. And if not, then we're just making way for another Pokemon. The Simipour's Focus Blast is going to miss, and we are going to be able to pick up the KO. Focus Blast is unfortunately just one of those moves that really never connects when you want or need it to. Just the name of the game we play. So now, we have Staraptor out here. What I kind of want to do is switch into Archeops. Ooh, not going to take the close combat very nicely, but we are going to lower Staraptor's defenses, and Staraptor shows that it is a Life Orb set. And we should actually outspeed here. If I U-turn, then something else is going to take a lot of damage. But I could leave Archeops in here to take a fall for the team. Archeops is actually going to land the Stone Edge though, and knock Staraptor out. Stone Edge is another one of those moves that can miss a whole lot. You're kinda counting on the dice rolls to get you from turn to turn there, but that's part of the excitement of Pokemon. If all the good moves were guaranteed hits, then a lot of the tension would kinda go out of the game. Or at least, that's what the people that are presently in the lead would say. People that are currently losing would wish that those moves were gone forever. So let's go for a Scald. I have no idea if my opponent has a Water Absorb Pokemon, but based on what I've seen so far, I think it's pretty safe to go for the Scald and fish for the burn. Get a whole lot of damage off onto the Diggersby. If we can knock it out, then that's great. And if not, well, we can get some damage off onto something, maybe even this, maybe get a burn. Either way, we just need to keep going in the match. Even though Diggersby is an incredibly powerful Pokemon, that critical quick attack did 40% to Quagsire. You just gotta keep going forward. You can never get discouraged, or you just end up not doing anything. You end up quitting the game, and honestly, that's a shame. There's a whole lot of potential to be had here. So, my opponent going to switch, going to head into Carnivine. Carnivine resists that, but takes the burn. So now, let's switch back into Archeops. Basically going to let it go down, or let it fall asleep as it were. And let's see if we can't wake up or get knocked out in return. Archeops is going to go down. And now we can bring in a more equipped Pokemon. So let's go into Yveltal, just to remind our opponent that we have this. Bit of fear tactics there. Well, let's go for the U-turn. It's going to do a whole chunk of damage to the Carnivine. I actually probably could have stayed in and gone for the Dark Pulse. And Simisear is going to take the sleep in return. I would much rather Simisear have that than another Pokemon though. Now let's go into Manectric. Manectric not going to be affected by the knockoff because it is our Mega Evolution. So let's Mega Evolve and go for the Volt Switch. I'm expecting Carnivine to switch out into the Diggersby. If it stays in, it's going to go down to the burn. Or maybe not. No, actually going to switch into the Skuntank. Skuntank going to take a critical Volt Switch. And now, let's go back into Yveltal. And with Yveltal out here, we can go for the U-turn. And bring out the sleeping Simisear. Simisear going to be affected by the taunt. And that's okay, the only non-attacking move on the Simisear is the Nasty Plot. And to be honest, I'm kind of just waiting for it to faint, as Skuntank does a chip damage to itself because of the Life Orb. Simisear gonna wake up, gonna fire off with the Fire Blast. And that's gonna be one dead Skuntank. So we've both revealed the entirety of our teams. I've got Mega Manectric, Quagsire, and Yveltal waiting in the wings. Let's see if my opponent decides they want to keep going with Diggersby and Carnivine. Diggersby is going to come out. Let's go for the Grass Knot just to see how much damage it'll do to the Diggersby. And if it doesn't end up doing a lot, which it is going to do about half, then that's okay. We are going to lose Simisear, but we have lots of Pokemon in reserve that can take its place. So, let's fire off with this Dark Pulse. Carnivine's going to be brought in retaliation. That makes me think that the Diggersby is choiced, and that he wants to get off a quick attack. So let's go for the Sucker Punch, just to get the upper hand, so to speak. Do a bunch of damage to the Diggersby, see how much it'll do, and then decide what to do from there. If it's choiced itself into quick attack, well, it's actually just going to faint. So let's say GG. Oh, my opponent is going to leave instead, but That's perfectly okay. Well, now this episode's gone on to 20 minutes, and honestly, I had a lot of fun. We had a few bum games in the middle there. Wait, now I've confused. Was it 1 or 2 that ended up leaving? Either way, we had a really fun first match where we lost, and then we had this awesome match where we won. And it's all because I chose to click play, and I chose to just keep going, even though things might have looked bad at some points. So never be afraid to keep trying. If you were playing along, let me know how your matches went. And if I've helped you to relax in some way or another, then please let me know with a like and a comment down below. I would very much appreciate the feedback. Until next time, take care and have a good one. Bye bye!